we're losing our minds, so we'll answer anything. Yeah.
The FBI, when they're doing interrogations, they just ask you the same questions over and over again until you break.
Yeah, or Scientology.
Exactly. So
It's like that.
Yeah, you're getting us right at the breaking point. So we're gonna admit a lot of things today to you.
What was Daniel Radcliffe really like to work with?
Oh my God, we keep saying he was nice, but he was nice. Just even nicer than we've been saying.
Yeah. That's so true. I wish I could be his best friend, but he's Harry Potter, so he already has all the best friends in the world.
Yeah.
But he's just like, he's too sweet, and he's like instantly became like everyone's little brother on set. Like everyone just wanted to take care of him. He was so great.
Yeah, I love gossiping and like calling people out on their shit, but unfortunately I have no gossip about Daniel Radcliffe.
He seems like the nicest guy.
Yeah, he is.
But let's talk about you guys. I mean, your career, I mean, it's what a lot of people dream of.
Yeah.
Does it
We
feel
did.
like what people dream of? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is making a feature film like is a dream come true for sure. And then especially because it seems like people are gonna go see it in theaters. We got like a cool distributor who's gonna put it all over Canada. That's dope.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, this might be the dream career, but like I don't think anyone ever imagines their dream first feature being Swiss Army Man, you know. And so that's again, everything about this movie is about contradictions, and that feels like a big contradiction. You're like, great, I've made it. I made my first movie, and there's 2 amazing stars in it. It's going to be in theaters, but it's about a farting corpse, and it's just like such a funny, weird contradiction. But I think that's the reason why. We've been lucky enough to make the things that we do is because we just keep following our gut instincts, and
Right.
even when it feels wrong, logically feels wrong, there's something really special about that, and I think a lot of people are drawn to that, which has been really a fun surprise for us.
Do you, this is a funny question to start early on with, but how do you balance out the amount of farting that a corpse does in a movie? Because it does seem like it's maybe just the right amount. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's. I'm excited to get the word out that like, if you don't like farts in movies, you're not alone. Like we don't. And if anything, we wanted to use them for dramatic effect.
Right.
So it was kind of important that Hank, the main character, not laugh. Like he doesn't think farts are funny. They're heartbreaking to him.
Yeah, every fart is a reminder of his own mortality. One day he's gonna decompose just like this dead body. It's not funny. I mean, obviously, some people are gonna laugh at it, and that's great.
Including me. Yeah. I mean, they're funny, but only to a point. So I think the key to the balancing act is that like, right as they started to get funny, we literally corked the butt, and like, just there's a whole hour of this film that has no farts, because we knew that would be the reputation, and we knew that like, by the time the audience gets to a certain point, they're gonna be asking themselves like, am I gonna have to hear more farts? And we wanted to like give them a gift and be like, no, we know, like, we're gonna push a different envelope now.
And the great thing about that is because we waited until the right moment. The next time you hear a fart in the film, or next time you experience a fart in the film, it's
freeing, right?
It's freeing, exactly. You basically feel what the characters feel, which is suppression. You feel suppression, and then you feel the release from that, which is what I think the movie is about. It's about what are the things that we hold inside of ourselves and we bottle up and allow to take over and create neuroses, when we should be finding healthy ways to like open up and let them out and find a way to, be a functioning human being in society that doesn't have to hide from everything and everyone. So it kind of just felt natural for the story for us to treat the farts that way, this is a crazy conversation
Longest
to be having.
conversation about farts.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's our life. That's our life now.
So what about the story? I know some of the roots of the story come from some of your early work, but where did you flesh that out? At what point did you kind of find all the elements of it to bring it together?
I mean, I think the key moment when we kind of broke the story for Swiss Army Man was there was a night when we were talking about that old farting corpse joke we'd had, and started talking about the relationship these two guys would have, and we started talking about it and coming up with this kind of like amnesiac corpse that needs to be reminded what home is like, and then this lonely man who's forced to kind of recreate home and remind the corpse and himself like what's nice about life, and that started feeling kind of lonely and funny and beautiful and like meaty, you know, and it was that relationship that kind of like reminding a corpse what life is like in order to unlock, you know, survival skills and to not die, that life or death nostalgia kind of story. That was when we were like, that's the real story of Swiss Army Man. We kind of been pitching it as a suicidal man must convince a corpse that life is worth living. There was never a point when we were like, a farting corpse, that's a feature, you know, like that was not the idea.
Yeah, that was the thing that made it more interesting to us. Obviously, I think when you combine the low brow with the high brow, you get a really interesting and more accurate depiction of what life is. I think life is a lot messier than what movies are able to, you know, portray, because we need genre and we need like lines of between comedy and drama, between action and romance. We need all those things, and we didn't want to mash genres up. We wanted to destroy genre. We didn't even want to have a genre. We wanted it to be a completely new word or emotion that the audience would have to find their own definition for it. And so I think that was when we were like, this is a movie we could work on for a while, because there's so many problems to be solved.
Although there were a few weeks when we were like, it's a rom-com. We're gonna make it a rom-com. It's fine. We're just gonna like, and we tried so hard, but it still landed right in no man's land.
So, what's your working relationship like? I mean, I could talk. I know the issue I've heard about journalists speaking with you guys is they could talk to you for hours. But what's your working relationship like? You know, how do you guys find a cohesion that works when you're making these?
That's our reputation, that we're just so fun to talk to, and
I mean, I've been warned that I better keep it to the time because everyone's going over. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Oh, no.
That's a good.
Yeah, it's a compliment. That's great. Yeah, we love talking about this movie, even though we're kind of
tired.
Sure.
Yeah.
At this point we're tired, but it's still such a fun conversation.
If these questions weren't so fun to answer, I'd just be like, come on, I want to go home. But it's like, but no, the question to like, what's our dynamic like is a hard one to answer, but we kind of we try to make each other laugh. And we try to just kind of take turns doing what either of us is most passionate about, you know? So like sometimes that means that Dan edits more than me because I'm just not in the right headspace. But then other days, like suddenly a light bulb will switch and it's like, no, I'm editing all weekend, you know, for 40 hours straight because something's right, you know?
And that's a big deal because the editing for you guys is huge.
Yeah, you just missed Matt Hannum, who edited this with us.
I met him, yes.
Yeah, he's great. We started out editing everything of ours, and then have kind of like slowly learned to share. But yeah, I think we like to take on a little bit of the burden in each department. You know, just enough that we can kind of wrap our heads around it, because kind of just standing back and dictating things doesn't really work for either of us. So whether it's camera department or art department or even acting, like you reach a certain point where it's like, can I just try a little? Like, let me roll around on the ground, or like, let me tie two sticks together, whatever.
Yeah. As far as our working relationship goes, we have like really, really, really different approaches to making things. Like we're just different human beings and different creators. So like that's been really interesting, because it means we balance each other out for sure, and that's really great. But then also it creates really interesting arguments, and the solutions to those arguments tend to create really unique stories and unique movies. So like all of our movies are things we would never make on our own, but because we have different outlooks, like he comes from improv comedy, I come from animation and design, we have very different priorities sometimes. And so if we can find a way to unite those priorities under one umbrella, then we have a very unique approach to filmmaking, which I think I feel very lucky that we found that by accident. Yeah, because we're both okay directors on our own. You know, we're not that good on our own, but like there's something special enough to give us the career that you were talking about in the first question. You know?
Right.
Like, we would never have this career. We would never stand out enough and never have the perseverance to actually follow through on any of these projects the way that we have, because it'd just be too hard for one person to do.
The last thing I really want to know is, where do you guys go from here? What do you want to do next? I mean, obviously music videos seem like a big part of your careers, but then are you looking forward to another feature film?
I think we always just enjoy like a new box to play in. So like
so video games next.
Yeah,
or
no,
VR.
I love
for sure.
video games. Yeah.
We've dabbled in interactive stuff. We still haven't done VR. Dan has some children's book ideas. We have another feature film script that we want to start writing this year.
Cool.
But we want to write it the same way we wrote Swiss Army Man. That like it kind of has to. What's it called? Where you like ferment, like
right.
like you know, we want it to kind of like evolve and like find the world and make sure it kind of like operates on its own terms. So we're not positive how long that'll take, but we've got one that we're working on.
Cool.
And yeah, we're kind of we're just gonna make all those things all at once, or retire. I might teach math. I love math. I miss math. Or maybe I'll just be a stay-at-home dad for a few years.
Take up painting.
Yeah. I'm like genuine. These are all real answers, but.
You know, I have to pitch someone to you guys. There's a guy named Son Real he's a rapper in Canada. He does the most amazing music videos.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him on the MMVA red carpet recently, and I said, "So who influences you?" And he said, "Daniels." And I was like, "I'm talking to them soon, and
How
you
funny.
guys should work together." I don't know if you guys are looking for anyone.
We'll write it down after.
They're
We're done.
amazing. He's amazing.
That's
He does.
so cool.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's interesting too that we're at the point where you guys you're influencing people who are coming up.
That's fun.
So cool. That's
The ultimate compliment.
right. That's so beautiful.
That's awesome.
Cool. We'll go make a music video.
There we go.
That sounds awesome.
Well, thank you guys very much.
Yeah. Our movie's in movie theaters. We can't believe it, and you won't either. When you see it in a movie theater, buy the tickets.
Buy a ticket. Hang out with your friends.
And strangers.
Yeah.
That's a long log line.